creator economy.
Welcome to
and
Memoirs
our
Podcast,
$17 million
where
Regulation
stories
A
are told to
crowdfund
create
on
lasting
starting.
memories in this
I am
digital
your host.
space that we live in. It's time to be creative and explore the opportunities you have to enhance the quality of your storytelling and to give you time back to enjoy with family and friends.
If he moved to Marietta in 2019 to study information technology at Kennesaw State University. After graduating in 2022, he launched his career as an IT systems engineer and decided to make Marietta his permanent home. Since then, Sam has become an active voice for safer streets, affordable housing, and civic engagement. He hosts the weekly Marietta Bike Social, attends local government meetings, and works with a Better Cobb to strengthen community connections. Now he's taking on the commitment even further, running for the mayor, bringing fresh leadership and new energy to Marietta's future. Welcome, Sam Foster, to Invested.
Thank you for having me, Isaac.
Hey, welcome, man. How you doing?
Doing well. The scooter ride here sucked, but we made it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. Pulling up. I'm joining us today. We are in the midst of a $17 million Regulation A crowdfund. Matter of fact, tomorrow night at 8 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, in Investathon 2025 will be happening live on Roland Martin's YouTube channel, Real Life Productions YouTube channel, Beehive TV's YouTube channel,
Not All
Hoods YouTube channel, and Ryan Holt's YouTube channel. We are closing this round. We are about to close this round and get started. Some guests that are joining us are Don Lemon, Representative Jasmine Crockett, Pastor Jamal Bryant, A.B. Burns Tucker. Who else?
All your favorites.
I'm trying to think. Hold on. Who else?
Wait.
Van Lathan.
Yep.
Candace Kelly, and a few more surprises that we'll save for tomorrow night. But tune in to the Fanbase Investathon at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But right now, if you want to invest before the Investathon, go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. They get you 60 shares of stock, and Fanbase is $665 a share. No, we just crossed $13,300,000 raised for this round.
Let's go, guys.
Let's go.
All
right.
Let's jump into it.
Sam.
Hello.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm feeling good. The campaign has been very intense. We're up against a 4-term incumbent, 78-year-old
Steve Tumlin.
78-year-old Steve Tumlin. We most recently raised $50,000. We're knocked on 6,000 doors. So we're really trying to reach voters. We're really trying to be aggressive, and it's exciting to see the support, inside and obviously outside of Marietta since I'm here.
Yeah.
It's been humbling.
What made you want to run for mayor?
So, like we discussed, I have been involved for a good amount of time now. Around 2 years engaging with the local government, and it's insane how unresponsive they are to the needs and wants of residents. Mm-hmm. People are asking for basic things like sidewalks, bike lanes, but even when it comes to things that you think about often, housing affordability. Mm-hmm. Where did starter homes go? Why is rent skyrocketed over the past decade? And these are issues that the mayor and the council are not focused on in Marietta. And I've been focused on election for a while, and I said to myself, if I'm not seeing the results I want in government, and the people in government are not listening to me, mm-hmm. and I'm going to have to replace the people in government and try to get the results that I want.
I like that energy.
I love the way you talk about the city when you're you kind of compare it to outdated software, right? Mm-hmm. Built for efficiency, not necessarily equity, right? You as an engineer, I have to ask you, what's the first bug you'd fix in the city?
So I would say the first bug and the biggest bug, and we see this a lot at the federal level too. Yeah. People ask so much, what politicians don't do anything. What is wrong? The first bug you have to fix is the responsiveness. When you ask for something, you shouldn't immediately get it, but there should be some sort of process. You're like, oh, I see them working on that. We have things that we've had in plans going back 20 years that we are either still working on and failing to do, or we've completely dropped, and people still want it, and we're not able to get it. We don't have a grocery store downtown. We don't even have. They said they were going to build a train down Highway 41, canceled. Where are these things that they're talking about? It's taking them 22 years to expand a road to 4 lanes. Like, well, what's going on here? So responsiveness of government is the first thing that I would want to change, and the thing that is going to open up so many other doors for people to be more engaged.
So what I'm hearing from that is you want to bring transparency
Mhm.
into Marietta's government.
Because when you think about any municipality, any place, what empowers that place to look like what people want it to look like? It's the transparency, what you are able to do with your elected officials, how you're supposed to communicate with them. And when you see what their priorities are, and those people are also from the community, you start getting the results that you want. So we have to work on that transparency element. We have to make sure that these documents that they have on the city website, people actually understand what they're saying, because they're obtuse. We have to make sure that during meetings, people are having discussions that we actually want to have, proper public hearings. We got to make sure that when you're spent, we have these projects that we're doing, the money is being spent properly. All of those different types of things are going to help people feel more engaged and help the government be more responsive.
I want to follow up with that real quick, Mr. Hayes. You're looking to bring transparency, but how do you convince the people? You've been saying some of these issues have been around for 20 years, right? Who are convinced that this is just the way it is, that they deserve better. How do you go about that?
So to your point, mayor's been mayor for almost 16 years.
Yeah.
And one of the first questions we asked ourselves is, well, if he's been mayor for so long, is anybody unhappy with his tenure? And I'd argue yes. But the people who are unhappy with his tenure are not showing up to vote. A lot of the people who are suffering the most from a lot of the projects that we did a project on a road called Franklin Gateway, now known as, used to be known as Franklin Road. And we bought up we took out a $68 million bond to buy up 1.3 thousand affordable homes and drive low income residents out of that corridor. And we placed it with the Atlanta United training ground and a sports complex. And there's a 33-acre vacant lot that IKEA has been sitting on for around 8 years. When you look at things like that, there are so many different things that I can point to. He just came out with a quote the other day. They asked him, what do you think about affordability? He said, maybe not everybody can afford to live in Marietta. Some people should move to Rome where they need the labor more. And then he said, I don't want to sound like let them eat cake, so I'm scared to say this. This is almost a direct quote. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but
Whoa.
So when we talk about what has been going on for the past 20 years, it's the pipeline of what do the residents want and what is the government doing? And when I'm a person in there, 24 years old, just graduated from college, still very attached to these issues, my approach, my creativeness to how I'm going to present new solutions is going to be very, very, very different. And we also have a bunch of city council candidates running who hopefully will usher in a new form of leadership that is going to help me execute those ideas even, quicker.
I love
Wow.
that.
I'm an OG. So I've been in Atlanta since I was 3 years old. I'm very familiar with Cobb County and Marietta, Georgia. Let me ask you this. Do you think that progress is delayed because, and I would say when I was younger, Cobb County always wanted to separate itself from Atlanta because we're the big city folk, and there's a lot of progress that I think they want to halt, because I think they have a vision of what Marietta is, which is a very small, quiet, chill town that's not ready for large, giant, construction. A lot of people moving forward, like even the train or the transportation out there, giving access from people from Atlanta to easily get out to Marietta. Do you think that has something to do with it growing?
So when we look at that discussion, right, people constantly, when you go to these city council meetings, you come to the board of commissioners meetings, there is something that the conservatives always say, and you can say conservative on national level or local level. They always say, we don't want to be like DeKalb. We don't want to be like Atlanta. Well, I'm sorry. It's already here. We're a majority minority city in Marietta. We have Cumberland. We have the Braves Stadium. We have I-75 running up into Cobb County. Those people that you're talking about from Atlanta, they have cars. They come to Marietta. They go wherever they want because they have cars. So adding this other element of transportation isn't going to bring this chaotic element that you think it is, number one. And when we think about what Atlanta is, we think about the metro Atlanta region, we think about our history, our story. We are one region. People who are over there, different state, or even people in Savannah, they're like, oh, that's Atlanta. They're thinking about Marietta. They're thinking about Gwinnett. They're thinking about Clayton County. Nobody has these separations except us. Because going back years, as soon as you cross the Chattahoochee River, you're like, oh, this is a different place. but we're dealing with those same issues over in Marietta. Over in some of our main corridors over by the Kettystone Hospital, we have a huge problem with homelessness, especially on Bell's Ferry. It's getting worse. People are like, oh, Marietta suburban. The working population in Marietta during the day is over 100,000 people. We are a major job center. We have our own carve out in the census data. They have metropolitan areas. Marietta is its own metropolitan area. So this idea that we're this small place or that we haven't grown to the point where we need to start thinking about more efficient ways to get around, we need to start thinking about housing affordability, it's not realistic. And you don't have to lose that character in order to be able to bring success and results for your people. And I think that's the main failure that we've had so far, because people think, oh, we got to build a skyscraper. We got to do this. There's got to be these trains, and then homeless people are going to sleep there. These are problems that we can solve with successful governance and responsiveness. It doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to build a skyscraper to house everybody. Places can look different. Washington, D.C., they have a height limit. We don't have to, build 100-story. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. But people are scared that we're trying to turn Marietta into Midtown. We're trying to turn Marietta into the Battery. No one is. We just have to grow and accommodate for that. And we shouldn't be scared of looking like Atlanta. And we don't have to look like Atlanta.
You said something earlier that your opponent is a 15-year incumbent. How is that possible? Like, wait, because are there term limits?
There are term limits in Marietta. You can serve 3 terms, but they were passed in 2017. He was already serving 3 terms up until that point. The terms before that point get grandfathered in. So everybody in 2017, they get to run for 3 more terms.
Wow.
Yep. So he is trying to run for, I believe it would be his 3rd term after the cutoff.
Right. So regardless, that this would be his last term regardless.
And theoretically, hypothetically, you could just get rid of the term limits. They haven't proposed that. But again, if you really wanted to twist the rules to work for you, which they did, you can just change the rules.
That's insane.
I mean, that's how, well, here's the thing. I always say elections are simple. Whoever casts the most votes gets to make the majority rules. That's why elections are so important. The things that we're dealing with now in our country and everybody's so upset about, I'm like, yeah, but the majority of people that wanted America to be the way that it is are the ones that showed up to vote, and the ones that didn't do that. How are you doing with getting your message out? I love your campaign. Whoever's doing your socials, great. I don't know who that is.
It's a mix. We have a paid social media team. Yeah, they're my friends.
They're doing a phenomenal job. Graphics.
Those are really good friends.
Literally.
No, they're good.
Yeah.
The graphics are great. The messaging is great. I think it's amazing. But how are you doing as far as getting your message out? As far as voter registration, early voting, getting people to turn out?
So the voter registration, sadly, deadline was yesterday. But it really is. You would think, right? Because like, they're not registered to vote. These people are registered to vote. They just don't know there's a municipal election going on. So a lot of people who showed up in the midterms, a lot of people who even showed up for the presidential, they tune out when it comes to a municipal election, especially on an odd year. It's 2025. Everybody's like, what election? Like, there's no election. We voted last year.
Right.
So it really is an issue of getting out, even people who already registered, start with people at the midterms. Hey, it's not that much of a leap to get you to come out, in 2025. If you already came out 2022 and you're going to go out in 2026, just so, come out one more time. We also have the PSC election coming up this year. Please vote for Peter Hubbard. When we talk about turnout, it's really about letting people know there's an election, going to their door again, hitting them with as many forms of contact as you can, getting them to remember your name. And then when election comes out, getting out the vote and telling them, hey, election's here, please come and vote.
Well, I discovered you on social media. And so I think that I'm a big proponent of using social media to get messaging, because it's real time. I always feel like people, you reach people in their pocket. I think that but the race that you're running, I definitely think is a grassroots, door-to-door type of conversation. But how are you using social media in your way? Because one of the when you showed the when you spoke about him vetoing Juneteenth.
That was hilarious.
That came from behind that tree, like my opponent vetoing Juneteenth, right? But I thought that was great. You have a great, great online presence. How are you using that, and how's that working?
So I want to go a little into the background of how that started. The nonprofit that you mentioned, A Better Cause, that I helped co-found, I had like these ideas of things that I wanted to, videos I wanted to record. I had no idea I was going to run for mayor. And then when I ran for mayor, I was like, okay, I got to do this now. So I have a notebook. I don't have it on me, but I had a notebook. I wrote down all the ideas I wanted to do. And I got my bike. I started biking around the city. I bought a camera unrelated to the campaign, and I just started like recording videos. Some of those videos, I'm literally sitting in a park like 5 minutes away from my house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just speaking from memory, you know, whatever. I remember, you know, because I studied this stuff way before. And I just put it out. I'm like, oh, these are starting to rack up views. And it starts snowballing into this thing. And then I'm walking out, going to the grocery store, and somebody's like, hey, Sam. I'm like, what? I've never seen you before. And now that ramped up every single time I leave the house. Somebody's like, hi, Sam. Even when I'm in Atlanta, I was at a comedy show last night. Hi, Sam. Wow. Even when I'm going to people's doors, we're directly talking to voters. They're like, oh, I was just talking about you 30 minutes ago. One of the guys who's out canvassing for me now, he's like, oh, I saw your TikTok. Like, the social media stuff is definitely hitting people in Marietta. And to your point, social media is something that everybody has access to and something everyone is on. Nobody's reading the newspaper anymore. Nobody's going to, you know, CNN, Fox News, like maybe older people, but a lot of people who are engaging now, they get their news exclusively through social media.
Mm-hmm.
All of the independent news that they get off YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So it's really been a driving force of the campaign. And it was something that I did not expect to happen at all, because this was just me casually whipping out my camera, microphone, going to different places in the city, and then like, oh, you know, let's talk about it. So
I want to
interesting.
I want to hit you with something that I was reading about. One of your biggest platform points is housing.
Yep.
So I want to read a Redfin report that states that home prices were up 5.1% year after year, with a median home being sold for over $400,000. And a city where the minimum income almost matches that, renters facing tighter markets. Can a mayoral campaign really redefine what ownership means for Black communities?
Yes, most definitely. I think the biggest failure that we have with government in general is that people trick you into thinking they don't have any power. So they go to you and they tell you, oh, like, oh, you know, we're going to pass the buck. Like, oh, we got to wait for this federal grant. Oh, we got to wait for somebody else to do something. It starts with you. It really does start at your local government. If you think about, we have the Marietta Housing Authority. That's one avenue that we have. We have control over zoning over every single parcel in the entire city. We control who builds what, where, what, how affordable it is, etc. We can set up incentives for people to come in and build affordable housing. We have examples like that just in Atlanta. We can do infill development where we fill in certain giant parking lots, and we're like, hey, maybe there's too much parking here. Let's redesign this. Build a parking deck, replace all the parking, put it somewhere else. And this idea that we have that because you're at the local level, oh, you can only do this if you're able to by a grant, or you have to find funding, or you have to take out a bond. It's like, no. We have examples in the city where we have zoned things, or we have incentivized projects through sheer soft power. The mayor, there was a project that he vetoed that was going to replace this vacant farmers market. I think it was called Harry's Farmers Market, and it was going to be mixed use development. And the owner from a property nearby came to the city council meeting, and he said, please approve this. This is going to help my business. And he sat there and he's like, oh, I might decide if I'm going to take a couple of days to veto this. Next day he vetoes it. And they come back like a month later, and it's all like, oh yeah, we just wanted to get the amount of housing units in this down. And they wanted to decrease the amount of multifamily housing in the development. So when we talk about what the local government can do, they have so much control over what goes where, how it's built, how expensive it is. And we need to exert that power more and use it for good instead of trying to prevent certain people from living in certain places. Because when you create spaces where people want to be, you think of like the Beltline, they turn into vibrant spaces that not only are places where people create memories, but they also generate revenue for the city, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the communities which those people live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for everybody watching, how can we support you? Because I'm supporting you. I don't live in Marietta, but I'm using my voice, my platform to let as many people know. I think you are a part of a growing trend of younger leadership in this country, and we need it. I'm not trying to be ageist, but your opponent is 78 years old. Come on, man, just you need to go relax. You know what I'm saying? Let the young guys take it over. You know what I'm saying? Have some fun. But how can we support you and help get the word out, especially in your community, especially in the city of Marietta, like getting people out to vote? What is election day and when does early voting start?
Early voting starts on October 14th. The the election day is on November 4th. The biggest way to help me or our campaign, is to be directly on the ground with us. That is the most labor-intensive thing you can do. If you want to come and help us knock on doors and reach people in Marietta, that would be fantastic. The most important thing that a grassroots campaign can do is directly go to voters and personally tell them about a campaign that is going to build a city that works for them. And if you can't do that, you can also phone bank, which is just calling voters and letting them know about the platform, telling them, we're fighting for them, and to consider your vote for us on November 4th or through early voting, which starts on October 14th. And if you can't do that, you can donate. The donation link is in my bio, sanformarietta.com on all platforms. You can also go to my website, sanformarietta.com. Ooh, did I say my tag wrong?
I don't know.
The tag is San for Marietta.
There you go. That's it.
Before we move on, Mr. Hayes, let the people know why we're here one more time and what's happening tomorrow.
So we are here talking to Sam Foster, but also we are getting ready for Investathon 2025 tomorrow night on Roland Martin and several other YouTube networks with guest speakers, Don Lemon, Van Lathan, hold on, I'm forgetting more people. A.B. Burns Tucker, Jasmine Crockett. Who else? I think that's it. Well, there's more. But anyway, tap in, tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for a live invest event for Fanbase for our current equity crowdfund, which you can go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest right now. We just crossed $13.3 million. We're going to $17 million. When we reach that goal, the race closes, it's over with, and we move on to bigger and better things for Fanbase in 2026 and 2027.
Nice. You wanna set up the next?
I have to set this next story up. So over the weekend, if you guys don't know, and I'm gonna make sure I say this right because I want to make sure that we say this correctly. Over the weekend, Julian Brown, an Atlanta inventor, tested his product, his formula called plastiline, right? And so Julian Brown has been working on this for 5 years to be able to convert recycled plastic into a new form of fuel called plastiline. And so he had a live event. Over like 1,000 people showed up. He poured plastiline into a 2023 Scat Pack, 110 octane fuel. So that's like, it ain't your 83 and your 83 and your 93. No, this is 110 octane. And they cranked the car up and it did phenomenal. And I wanted to post this. I posted about this on my socials, and this video currently has over like 10 million views. It's incredible. If you don't know Julian Brown, he's been working on this for a long time. He kind of went missing, or everybody said went missing for a while. Everybody's like, where's Julian Brown at? Where'd he go? What happened to him? People thought, the feds grabbing him up or whatever. But I think the real genius of his invention that people don't know is he did this now using solar power. I've seen a lot of people online talking about, he's using electricity. It's been done. Paralysis, what is it called? I'm gonna make sure it's like, it's I can't remember the name of what it's called. But anyway, he did it. And it caught a lot of backlash online. And so, but I wanted to give his flowers. Let me ask you, Sam, what do you think this is a big deal as far as inventing and using renewable sources like plastic to turn into, I guess, energy? And I think the plastic, I think it burns at a cleaner emission rate than regular gasoline.
I think so. Yeah, I think when it comes to recycling, obviously it's reduce, reuse, recycle, so that's the last step.
Mm-hmm.
But I think anything, especially with a Black inventor, I think anything that we can do to creatively reuse materials that we've already used, I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
and I'd love to explore that more because I know focusing on Marietta a little bit, I feel like we don't do enough to find out how we can invest in more energy like that, because coal and all this stuff, the old type of fuel that we've been using, it's going away.
Yeah,
we got all these other countries, they're investing in solar power, they're investing in wind, and it's like we're fighting that, and it's like it's where the money is. Prices are falling for solar panels, all this stuff, and it's like we got to catch up, and we got to we got to get with it. So
Absolutely.
I have a question for both of you. What does this say about the kind of innovation that's happening in our own communities? This was a rare instance where something happening in Black culture hit mainstream, right? You just said it, 10 million views, right? Give me your take on that.
Well, for one, I like to say that nobody in mainstream media covered this, which is one of the reasons why I even started this podcast. Is I feel a lot of times in Black-owned media, we have a lot of conversations about things that are entertaining to people. So Cardi B and Cardi B and Nicki Minaj fighting, or Diddy trial, it gets everybody watching. But when things like this happen, we need to talk about them, and they bring awareness and attention. Now, mind you, that this story has gotten a lot of attention. I posted this, knowing this, when I posted this on all socials, I knew that X was going to create a firestorm of controversy. And I posted this on X, and let me tell you, the racists were having a field day on X.
I saw it. They were saying
out.
They were saying it was already been done before. Like,
they were saying way worse than that. They were
just
saying,
give me an example.
They were saying they were just a lot of racial slurs. Like, oh my God, a Black person lights a cigarette, and you guys swear you invented it. All this stuff, and and it's funny, but I did that intentionally because I knew that would be a problem for people to accept, Black innovation is something that is commonplace in the United States of America. Here's something though that's interesting. When I post these things all the time, and this is a message to the racists out there. Hi.
hello.
Just a question to you guys. Whenever we post something like this, that Black innovation or Black excellence, the one question that we always get from racists is, why does everything have to be about race? Why you got to make it about race?
And we don't mention race at all.
So how about this? How about we ask the people, why is the people that made it about race always want to ask why it's about race? So to the racists out there, ask your great-great-great-grandfather. And if he's dead, then ask your great-great-grandfather. And if he's dead, ask your great-grandfather. And if he's dead, ask your grandfather. I'm pretty sure sooner or later, you will find a living relative that's old enough to say, well, it used to be about race. And that's why everything is about race, because it used to be about race. So now that Black culture and Black people are under attack across this country, now you're concerned and don't want it to be about race. So now you want to forget about race when this entire country and everything that was built upon this land was about race. And now you don't want it to be about race anymore. I'm sorry, but no. And we'll continue to highlight Black excellence because we have people trying to, censor what you see on social media platforms, right? Like now that's why they're acquiring all these social media platforms. They want to silence the progress and the growth. Something that Tamisha said is that just being Black is political now. Since DEI is under attack, just being a Black person is a political statement. Just wanting equity and equality is a political statement. So I find that super hilarious that a young man does this solar-powered invention for plastiline, and it just rubs the racists of America the wrong way.
I think something else to that as well. You think of like somebody creates something that's worthless, right? Like, and we got the Trump phone or whatever, he released that, or you have Elizabeth Holmes with the trying to do the drop of blood.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone goes crazy. You get celebrities involved, you get people in power involved, but every time it's a minority, they get so skeptical. They're like, let me analyze this first. But when it's somebody else, they already have the legitimacy. So they're like, okay, this seems real. They don't do any research or, analysis. It's always feels like we're held to a higher standard for no reason. I remember last year when the DEI attacks were ramping up, they're like, oh man, if I see a Black pilot, I'm going to get a little bit scared. Why? Why? They're like, oh, did they really deserve to be in the military? Did you earn that position? I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Well, as someone who is a Black tech founder in the social media space, trust me, I've had my fair share of criticism, building a product like that. And it's interesting because, again, I know people in the tech space that have been handed $50-60 million to build products that fail very quickly. And grassroots is kind of what Fanbase has been about, where the people on the platform. I've used this thing called equity crowdfunding to raise money. We've raised over $23 million in 4 rounds scale and build this company. And so I am no stranger to that skepticism just based off the color of my skin. But also understand this. Understand that it also poses a threat. Black excellence poses a threat to white mediocrity. And I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but that's the truth.
We've seen that throughout history,
Yeah.
Auburn Street.
Yes.
We have all these different places around the country, but especially Atlanta. As soon as you start to succeed, they're like, "Oh wait, not like that."
Right.
And then they knock you down. It's
Black
insane.
Wall Street. Yeah.
Exactly. It's I look forward to the day when we can finally just be successful in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And when you become mayor or you start your own company, nobody's looking at you like, did he earn that? How did he get here? Who gave him that?
But they know the truth of that. They know, but they already know that. They know that we worked twice as hard. It's just, again, I think it's just a way of making people feel comfortable. Because it's like, so because it's funny. I mean, I've seen some funny memes online. Because it's like, look, this is the funniest shit I've seen online. I'm sorry. I saw this girl say, "Hey, when I'm out," I saw a black girl say, "When I'm out and I see a white homo person, I don't give them no money at all." Like, how did you fumble white privilege to wind up homeless? Like, what are you talking about? I thought that was hilarious. But it's somewhat a true statement when a lot of the things in this country have been built for white people, and when you manage to see people, even someone like you, like, how are you running for mayor? How did you? I assume, being a systems engineer and going to college, you're a pretty smart guy. I can already tell, and you earned your education, so you should be proud of that. You shouldn't have to hide it. It shouldn't be anything, and you should be able to succeed at whatever level that you want to succeed based off the work that you put in. It shouldn't have anything to do with what color you are. And that's the pride. And I've seen that in corporate America, even with some of my mentors that have worked in major corporations that are brilliant people, but have also made people around them feel uncomfortable. So I'm supposed to dumb down my intelligence to make you feel comfortable. And we got to stop doing that. And that's not how you get better. You actually push people, iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel, whatever. That's what it needs to be.
I think that's, we talk about power imbalances. That's like the ultimate power imbalance bias. Before somebody even sees it, they're like, I associate black people with X and Y. And then on the other side, I associate all white people with X and Y. And it's not, obviously we're not colorblind. We have reality to live in. But at the same time, it's like, we got to get to that point where nobody's questioning, what did you do? Like, who's controlling? Somebody asked the other day, who's pulling your strings? I'm like, me. But like, what?
You showed, what's so funny? I thought you were going to show up here with a huge team and all that. I was like, Sam just showed up. I said, "Oh, let him in." Like,
You just popped up casual.
pulled up on you. Like, yeah, I just got here on a scooter. First time riding a scooter. I'm like, what?
We even said, "Hey man, we'll Uber you home."
Uber you home. Like, yo, you can't, man, you run for mayor. You can't be on a bird scooter. But that's kind of honestly what makes you, you. And I think what's gravitating people towards what you got going on.
Well, let me ask, what's the difference? We, often we celebrate Black brilliance, but we don't invest in innovation, right? Black innovation. What's the difference between celebrating Black excellence and investing in it?
I think this comes down to like capital, like where the money is, right? Because it takes that first person to invest in it. And if you don't already have the capital to start there, if nobody's planting that seed, then it's not going to grow. So when we talk about why, it's great to celebrate things because that's the easy part. But starting the ball rolling to build community and, get it going. Like we mentioned, you get knocked down when you get to a point where you look like you're stronger, especially if I win.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they're going to do. So that's what we have to overcome. It's before any of us were born in this room. It is decades, it's generations of just systemic bias against us as people. And it's really hard to get that ball rolling on investment because it's bigger than any one person. And at some point, it's bigger than any one community. I think taking reins of government is one way to get that ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I think being stronger as a community, having community events, starting our own businesses, getting that going to where we become structures in the community, we can't be ignored. I think that is a great way to start that investment.
How about you, sir, as Fanbase's founder and CEO? What does that look like to you?
I mean, what we've been doing, we're actually living what it is. I was fortunate enough to be able to to bootstrap, which most people aren't. And that is probably the hardest part in getting the ball rolling. A lot of my friends that are Black founders needed that first, $50, $150, $200,000. And so I just happened to be able to use money that I made in my previous career to jumpstart that, but everybody doesn't have that. So that is why I always talk so much about equity crowdfunding. I don't think people understand how powerful or how important equity crowdfunding is and how much it levels the playing field. They don't understand that Barack Obama is the one that signed this into law. And I don't think, we always say Barack Obama hasn't done anything for Black people, right? People say that all the time. Oh my God, what did Barack Obama do for Black people? When you think about passing laws that overwhelmingly affect and benefit people of color more than other people, then that is something for you. So when someone white can go into a bank and get a loan, or a white founder can go and just talk to some VCs and get cut a check, cool. But what you can do is your community can help self-fund your startup for $150,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million, $200 at a time, $300 at a time. And that is the genius part about what equity crowdfunding and the gift that keeps on giving that a lot of people I feel are not taking advantage of. Because when I hear people saying, oh my God, there's no capital out there, I'm like, yeah, there is. There's capital between all of us. It doesn't look like it. But again, collectively, when I coach people about equity crowdfunding, I had one of my friends, he's like, oh, I need to raise $500,000. And I was like, oh, that's like 8,000 people giving you $250. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that's nothing. Like it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you break it down, when you chop it up and make it seem smaller and smaller, those molehills, those mountains turn into molehills and see you how to do that. So it looks like people investing in what we're doing in the fan base and stuff like that. So
This is directly related, kind of unrelated, but we've raised $50,000 so far. Almost half of that has come from people giving less than $100.
Exactly.
So like, people are like, oh, what's my money going to do? What's this going to do? Your money isn't just money. You work for it, whatever. It's a representation of what you want to see in the world. You give somebody your money, you want to see them grow. That money is power to then invest in your community. And thinking about like how small you are as one person, and then how that can spread out when you create a community is so powerful. People think look at rich people, are like, oh, Elon Musk, it's just him. No, these rich people as well have teams around them. They have connections. They have people who are also rich. Like you said, you start a company, you go to somebody, you're like, hey, just give me $1 million loan. I'll get it back to you, whenever they have those networks. They built it out and they've had it before they were born because their parents and their parents had it. Yeah. So we got to build that out. And what you're doing is exactly what it looks like.
I'm taking that line though. Your investment is what you want to see in the world.
I already marked that. I looked at the time. I said 37.
That's the bar. So just know, your investment. So your investment in fan base is what you want to see in the world of social media. So think about that. And that's thanks to Sam Foster right here. Thank you for the bar, sir. That's great marketing. I appreciate you. We're doing some marketing consulting because
after I'm term limited for mayor, I'll become a rapper.
There you go. You got bars, man. I appreciate it.
So what does this, going it back to Julian, right? What does this breakthrough represent for the next generation of Black inventors and entrepreneurs right now?
I think it means that you don't have to ask anybody for what you're going to do, right? You can't contain anything anymore, for better or for worse, because we all have our own channels of information where we disperse it. So whether CNN's covering it, whether Fox is covering it, doesn't matter. We can start up our own platform, go out there and show what our communities are doing and spread it out that way. And I think successes like that show people that you don't need to ask anybody for permission to do anything. You start it, your community's behind you, you go and do it and see where it goes.
Man, I want to jump into this next subject about AI.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute, before we jump in.
Yes.
One more time, man. Hit them with what's going on.
Your investment in Fanbase is what you want to see in the world. So for that reason, you can go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. This is not a GoFundMe. This is not a donation. If you're donating, donate to Sam. But if you're investing, invest with Fanbase. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum to invest is $399. You choose 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. Now, all right, we got to talk about this. So I looked at Sora
Oh Lord.
I went on Sora this week. So the Sora app came out, which is an all AI generated social media platform by OpenAI. And when I got there, I was shocked at what I saw. I saw videos that were indistinguishable from reality. And what I also saw were videos that had initially, a lot of African-American icons that were content was created behind. I'm talking about Martin Luther King. I'm talking about Malcolm X. I'm talking about Tupac. I'm talking about Biggie.
Michael Jackson.
I'm talking about Michael Jackson. Yeah. And what I did not like about that whole situation, number one, is that the legacy, the families of these individuals, whoever owns the IP, is not giving people permission for Michael Jackson to be making a fried chicken commercial or, stuff like that. It's just like it's not cool. And so, but it posed a larger issue. And the fact is, like, we don't know what is real. Like what we consider real is what we see and what we hear. And the danger in that is that up until now, video and audio, primarily video, was the end all be all. That's how you win cases. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you think about what's the video footage that just came out of the football player? Why am I Ty Lacey, right? Kyron Lacey. So when you think about Kyron Lacey, that whole process of proving his innocence was a video of showing that he was 75 yards behind the accident. Now we have programs that could say he was right there. No matter of fact, his car is the car that caused that. Mm-hmm. That's what's giving me concern with the way that social media is looking right now. And I think that these tech companies are over-indexing on AI. I think there's going to be the divide that a huge portion of the world and the community are going to want to live in reality. And there are the people that are not going to want to, but I think they're overestimating what people think that they want with AI.
Oh, regulations either hopefully are coming, but they definitely need to be coming.
It's a hard thing, right? Because you're like, okay, let's regulate. And then we are one government and one country. Then China, Russia, whoever else. I'm so concerned about, not being able to tell what's real. We had a guy in Cobb County. He was accused of abducting a child. It didn't happen. They released the footage from the Walmart. It's like, it didn't happen. And he was being held or whatever. But now, like you're mentioning, somebody could just be like, oh, we have the evidence right here. We have everything that we need. He did it. And now scale that out. Now you can have a deep fake of a world leader saying we are declaring war on the United States. Mm-hmm. And for all intents and purposes, from everything that we check out, somebody could be like, yeah, that's real. And now we have people at the top of our government planning what's their next action because somebody just declared war on us. And now that the AI is not only for, deceiving people for whatever monetary reasons, it's getting political. Where now the president of the United States is releasing fake AI videos of himself saying things that are untrue. We are getting to the point where we can't even regulate this. What is going to happen next when this actually becomes something that kills somebody or starts a major crisis?
Well, let me jump in and say this. When you think about convictions versus exonerations, Black people are number one in exonerations because of evidence. Mm-hmm. So who do you think they're going to use evidence for? That body cam footage or that video that proves the innocence of a person? Who do you think is going to use that to use it against Black people to incarcerate people? So this is my problem with Sora too. I think that, again, I think that AI, I always say this, when you invent a product or you build something, and AI is no different. You have to take it to hell before you take it to heaven. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we're taking it to hell. I don't think we're thinking about the worst case scenarios that could happen in building something so massive and so powerful, as opposed to the amazing outcomes that AI can create and generate for people. But we're not thinking about the negative things they can do. And when I saw Sora, I was really offended by some of the things that I saw. And also, again, I've been saying this for years, that you're going to have to, I've told people they need to trademark their name, image, and likeness, number one. And then two, we're in the future. When you call my phone, mark my words. Listen to what I'm saying right now. Somewhere in the very, very near future, when you call my phone, there's going to have to be a blue check beside your name. If that blue check is not beside your name, that isn't you. We're going to be verified in real life. because I don't know who I'm talking to on the phone. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you something was funny last night. DL called me and I didn't answer the phone because I didn't know who it was.
Wait,
And
this is DL Hughley?
DL Hughley called me on the phone. It was so funny. And then he called back and then I sent it to voicemail and I saw his name like, hey, IXD, and I answered and he goes, see, if you was living your life right, you wouldn't have to be ducking.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, you don't understand. We're in a world right now where you don't know who is calling you. You don't know who's trying to get your voice. You don't know who's calling you on the phone. Like imagine these past 4 or 5 years when everybody's been calling your phone and nobody's speaking on the other end. And you're like, hello? Who is this? Anybody there? Yeah, that's them grabbing your voice. Think about that. They can be grabbing your voice just to have you talk. Hello? Who is this? Mom, is that you? Imagine people just recording your voice. That's why when people answer the phone, I don't say, if I don't know the number, I just hold the phone like this. You speaking before I speak. And a lot of times it just hangs up. Right? And that's what it is. I'm like,
that's already here. Like,
yeah,
people, especially you're a public figure, and me now, I guess. Somebody just goes and takes a social media video, synthesizes it, put it in AI. Now they can put it through a voice modulator. Now they can call anybody they want as you.
Yeah.
You can call a family member, be like, hey, whatever. They were talking about like people need safe words because like, oh, what's the code? If they, you're like, oh, you don't know the code, I guess it's not you. We're in a scenario now where people can't even determine what reality is.
Being verified is going to matter in real life, real verification.
It's scary.
So let me ask. Well, one, it's happening already. People are already doing the voice synthesizer
Scams.
to elicit money, so on and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
My question to you as a platform owner, do you plan on tagging AI content?
We're going to have to. Like this time that I spent an enormous amount of time on Sora the last, 4 or 5 days. And I was like, we're going to have to, because I actually think that is going to be an actual draw in social media. There is no AI over here. Everything is real. Like the real world exists over on Fanbase. Again, you can, I don't have a problem if you edit your photo, you want to brighten your teeth or shrink your waist or whatever. Fine. Use AI for that. But total, like 100% fake generated content, it's not sexy and it's not real. I don't understand what people are thinking, because they're like, oh my God, Sora 2 is going to kill social media. The human part about yourself cannot allow yourself to look at something, at least for now, for so long, to not know it's fake. The difference is, if they were smart, they would have released Sora 2 and didn't say it was AI. That's how you get everybody. It's have people watching content and be like, wait a minute, none of this is real, because the way that this stuff is looking, the way that people are jumping into it, because you can do this thing called Cameo on Sora 2, where you can take yourself and then add it to the app and then put yourself into anybody's posts. If they make a post about doing something, let's say they make a post about skydiving and jumping out of a plane, right? Then you can do a cameo and take that same post and put you in there with your voice, and now you're doing it. And I was like, yo, who want to do that? I'm not doing that. It's super, super scary. I'm not with none of that at all.
You wouldn't put yourself in a movie or anything?
No, man, I'm not doing, man. When I saw those Biggie, there's a lot of Notorious B.I.G. content that I saw. And I'm like, in Tupac walking into the ring like he's about to wrestle, and it's just like, and again, I was like, why is it always the black icons first? And we have to do a better job about respecting our icons, because we always have fun. And I'm like, yo, there's not a lot of respect. Again, I mean, they're doing Bob Ross crazy on there. They're doing JFK crazy on there. Like, why they got Bob Ross, painting with his hair? And it's just like, that's disrespectful to his family. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, like that stuff.
It's going even further than people in real life. Even there's a lot of animation that's being disrupted as a result. And so now studios are now trademarking and saying you do not have the right to use our characters in these
training the AI models.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
side note though, hold on, this is another story. This just made me think of something though. Sorry, I have to do this now because I thought about Biggie and I just saw something the other day. All right, New York fans, did you know that possibly Notorious B.I.G. got his whole entire charisma and posture and image from a rapper from Mississippi? Did you not know that?
Wow.
Okay, so this is a story. In 1993, there was a rapper named Notorious B1.
B1.
Notorious B1 from Mississippi. I have it. I'm looking at it.
Wow.
Notorious B1 from Mississippi, right? Here's the crazy part about that. The rapper Notorious B1, the name of the song was called Big Daddy.
Yep,
Wow.
we're looking at it right now.
Used the sample of Juicy Fruit. So he's rapping over it. This is a year prior to Biggie putting out Juicy. So you got to think, Notorious B.I.G., Juicy, and Big Papa are all three things, and the sample from Juicy Fruit are all three things that were connected to this rapper from Mississippi called Notorious B1. Now, the crazy part about this is that this is like before the internet, really. So if he was signed to a small record label in Mississippi, so there's no way that you can really, you're not going to beat New York. It's by the time those things travel, there can be artists huge in one side of the, in 1993, an artist can be large in New York City. We have no idea who they are. So even by the time this probably happened, I just, I always heard the message that good artists borrow, great artists steal. It is absolutely apparent that that this guy from Mississippi had his swag, even his flow, stolen from that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can find Big Daddy. Hold on, and you're gonna see.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, I got it right here. No, I'm about to play it. But listen, tell me, does this not sound like Iggy? He even sound like how Biggie was rapping.
He just sounds like Biggie.
But you know who they said allegedly stole it?
Who?
I'm looking on Wikipedia. It said it has been alleged that Sean Diddy Combs, the CEO of the Notorious P.I.G.'s record label,
It always goes back.
Bad Boy Records, stole the song's beat along with Notorious B1's name and flow.
It always goes back. Wow.
On the situation, Notorious B1 allegedly said, "I want everybody to know the truth. I was the original Notorious Big One."
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
The song was published November 23rd, 1993.
A full year before Juicy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, that's why I say, like, your identity, your identity and your credit and who you are actually matters. All right, now we got to talk about something else that I saw on the internet, which really bothered me. And this is it's about, we're in an era right now where we don't know who owns the things that we consume, the media that we consume. So here's a story. I was on social media this weekend, and I saw a post on worldstarhiphop.com. And I'm gonna make sure that I get this right. I saw a post on worldstarhiphop.com, and in that post on worldstarhiphop.com that said this woman sent $2,000 back as a birthday gift because she knows her worth. But the real question is, like, who's behind the message, right? Because I looked at this post, I'm like, it showed like an Apple Cash post of $2,000 going back and all that kind of stuff. And I jumped on there and said, does anybody know, like, at the end of the day, if this is a real message, and could this message be used to gaslight Black people and cause division in the Black community? So the first thing that I did is I said, well, all right, that's World Star Hip Hop. But who owns World Star Hip Hop? Because I remember Q, the owner and founder of World Star Hip Hop, passed away in 2017. But did you know that in 2019, Media Lab AI acquired World Star Hip Hop, and they've owned it since then. And Media Lab AI is owned by a guy named Michael Hayward, and they also own Kick, Ingenious, and other media platforms. So you got to understand, like, we're at a point right now that before we even believe what we're listening to or looking at on social media, who's behind the messaging? That's why when we talked about the T app earlier, in earlier episodes, it's like, is this used as a propaganda machine? And a lot of people on my comment, because I commented on WorldStar, and I'm like, and they're like, Isaac, like, You're right. I never thought about it like that. Like, cause even the name was like goofy. The name was like Kavan. Like, I know my worth Kavan, and it's real N-words out there that are gonna give me the bag. I'm like, what does that do except pit black men and black women against one another? And it's on worldstarhiphop.com. And you don't even, I was like, you can't even tell if the message is real or not. And so we got to figure out if we're being gaslit by, a community to keep us divided.
I mean, historically, we can go back years, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are the only community that will be shown, with arguing against each other, right? We don't see any other community take part in it the way we do, right? We're put on radio shows blasting each other. We're put on TV shows blasting each other, and it's gone back decades. Unfortunately, this is nothing new. I think this is a situation where just the medium has changed. What's your take on it as a founder?
Yeah, but that's scary because now it's like millions of people seeing this at one time.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about this is like, this is a form of propaganda.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like, I don't see on any of these other sites, so-and-so white woman sends back $2,000 because she knows her worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to understand, like we're being gaslit and pit against one another a lot of times with content.
Have you seen have you listened to this higher level, I guess, Vince Staples' Summertime '06?
Oh.
There's this constant theme throughout the album and other albums he has. There was one called I forget. There was another one album where he had, but he has this constant theme of like white people or whoever is watching black people fight each other or whatever for entertainment. So at certain times during the album, like it's a radio theme album, like, oh, this violence in the hood that I grew up in, it's entertainment, it's on TV, you don't have to experience it. And to me, you're mentioning like they're pitting us against each other. It's entertainment. It's like, oh, look at them, they're so rowdy, they're so they're so different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're watching animals in a cage trying to fight each other, and you're like, man, this is so crazy, this is so entertaining. So a lot of the media that we generate, you think about like Real Housewives, or you think about social media posts, like, oh, of course the black community is like that. And I know they talked about it a lot on Boondocks as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just disappointing to see stuff like that because it's distorting reality and giving people a picture of the community that's not real.
It's hard to I look at things, I research before I react.
Yep.
And that's what we need to start doing. We need to start researching before we react. So before you see the viral post or the meme online, do some research first. Before you react, research. Because anything that you say, like who did this? Who are these people? That's what I said. That's what I said. Show me the person, the real human beings that actually had this conversation. Like, where did this text message come from? And how did World Star Hip Hop get it? Because World Star Hip Hop posted it. It's like they posted it. So where did y'all get this from? Or did y'all just make this up to get people arguing in the comments?
Show me the receipts.
we live in the hate economy,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. I mean, we talk about this all the time. While conflict, unfortunately, drives engagement, we as people are naturally attracted to conflict and division, right? We talked about that. That's how Donald Trump won the election. He created, that's how Adolf Hitler got so powerful in Germany. They pointed towards an enemy and everybody rallied around that. So
looking at right now, just to say one time, Media Lab AI is the company that owns World Star Hip Hop, but they also own Imager, Kick, Whisper, DatPiff, Amino, and Genius. And so you got to understand, like, who's behind these platforms in ownership, and we gotta research before we react, because it's causing a lot of problems. And it also made me think about, again, how easy it is to sometimes trigger our community. I know Black community's been through so much trauma, but we also kind of just, again, have to stop and think, where did this come from? And so now with AI, that got me thinking about, when I saw this post, it just got me thinking about, coupled with AI, now you can have somebody make the video like, I am the person in this video that sent this.
Yep.
And so the world that we're living in is drastic about the change. But I predict, again, that there will be a counter movement against AI, that there will be a reality movement. Like, I do not want social media filled with a whole bunch of AI generated content. If somebody got their ass whooped, I want it to be a real fight. If somebody's telling a joke, I want it to be a real joke. If somebody almost got attacked by a bear, I want it to be the real part that really happened. And that I don't want people to manufacture, all these adrenaline moments of these exciting things for us.
Authenticity is the name of the game.
Yeah, we're going to be real around here. Fanbase is where reality is going to be.
We're in like a war for the truth, basically.
Yeah, see, why you coming up with these bars, man? A war for the truth. I'm saying.
There's a
Sam
reason.
Foster got bars.
There's a reason he's running for mayor.
There's a reason he's running for mayor. Sam Foster got bars, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we are close to wrapping up. So I'm gonna give one more plug. Sam Foster for Mayor Marietta. If you want to donate or canvas or help, what's the website one more time?
Sam4marietta.com, FOR.
And we're gonna get you a Fanbase page. I don't know if you have one. We got to get him a Fanbase page. I might actually have you come and do a town hall, an audio town hall on Fanbase, and talk to people. And we'll do that. I think that'll be really, really cool. We should set up and have you set that up and have an opportunity to do that. And then for everybody else, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Investathon 2025. It's a live invest event with guest speakers. You'll learn a lot about Fanbase. Oh, Roland Martin will be there. Tamisha Harris will be there. Don Lemon will be there. Jasmine Crockett will be there. Van Lathan will be there. Candace Kelly will be there. A.B. Burns Tucker will be there. Ryan Holtz will be there, and more. So if you can, screenshot the QR code that's on one of the posts on my profile, or get the link and join. You probably pop up on the app and join us tomorrow night for Investathon and Invest. But if you want to invest before, go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. The minimum is $399. We just cost $13.3 million. When we get to $17 million, this raise is over. And this podcast for today is over. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back next week. Later.